what are happening with these conditions that are causing folks to take their own life and others to die in custody. So Human Rights First, based on our interactions in previous administrations, has some semblance of an idea, as I'm sure all of you have seen through reporting. There are rampant human rights violations, well documented, of inhumane, unnecessary, and unlawful conditions of migrants and asylum seekers. Our reports cite evidence of medical neglect, physical and psychological mistreatment, denial of legal counsel, and prolonged detention in unsafe and unsanitary conditions. Medical neglect is something often as simple as denying access to regular primary care, asthma attacks, maternal care, which leads to preventable deaths, which have been well documented over the administrations in the United States. Detainees have faced physical, sexual, psychological mistreatment at the hands of staff. There's been reports of racist statements, attacks, verbal abuse, as well as the punitive use of solitary confinement, as has been shared earlier. Some people have been subjected to being held incommunicado, disappeared, and left without access to not just counsel, but their family, which I'll go into the third-party agreements a little later in the presentation. And then last but not least, of course, the lack of access to counsel. Not only is it very intentionally placed, it being detentions across our country in very remote locations that often don't have airport access, that often require long and winding roads, hours away from any major cities. But even if you are to arrive, as we experienced in August and times before, just this year alone, even if you do make the journey to get to these detentions, whether it be as lawyers or as just advocates or as family members, there's still so much procedural tape that makes gaining access to these detainees nearly impossible. And what is unique with this administration is just the brazen disregard of members of Congress, elected officials, even being gained access. So we really are, from a human rights standpoint, in a really treacherous moment when it comes to not just the conditions that are leading to these deaths, which are preventable, but also any form of oversight, whether it be from organizations like Human Rights First or the government itself. This all violates international law. It does not just our domestic law, but international law. International authorities have repeatedly condemned the United States for the practice of jailing migrant families and has urged us to end these policies. International law also prohibits the detention of immigrant children, as it's fundamentally inconsistent with the best interests of a child. And we are seeing not just the deportation of U.S. nationals, children of undocumented individuals, but also a direction moving towards a return to family detention here in Washington, D.C. Further, as it pertains to asylum seekers, it is generally prohibited under international law, except as measures of last resort, to hold these people in detention, something the Trump administration has been doing with impunity.